The best comparison I could make to the feeling I had after watching Spyfall Part 1 is that it was kind of like watching the 2004 Red Sox come back from a 3-game deficit in the playoffs, beat the Yankees in 4 straight games, and win the pennant. No. Stop. Okay, come with me on this. I get it, no. I know y'all are allergic to sports ball and whatever, but the sheer sense of the what that we had was so palpable back in 2004 that Lost had Ben Linus tell Jack about it as part of the list of things they'd all missed because they were stuck on the island, and Jack took it as further proof that Ben was like a big old liar pants.
Boston Red Sox won the World Series. What?
If you wanted me to believe this, you probably should have picked somebody else.
It's that was such a big thing that was never going to happen, but it happened. Here's the thing, though. History tells us the Red Sox took that momentum and ran with it, winning the World Series in 4 games. But keep in mind, we hadn't won the World Series since 1918. Though, oh man, we came embarrassingly close multiple times. Winning all the marbles back in 2004 was not a fait accompli either, even after that miracle run. We got so used to the team pulling us in, and then breaking our little hearts, that no one even speculated about the mere possibility that this may hypothetically, maybe, possibly be the year until the Sox were halfway done spraying booze all over each other.
Get on with it!
My point is, the Chris Chibnall era is the pre-2004 Red Sox of Doctor Who. Don't think too hard about that. It doesn't really hold up. But it begs to be seen whether or not Doctor Who can pull off the same trick the Red Sox did after rising up out of admittedly kind of low expectations to pull off what was, by all appearances, a really stunning victory by the skin of their teeth. It's still unclear whether or not the show is going to stick the landing or whether or not it's going to be more like Lost.
And if you listen to me, if you trust me, I'll take you there.
Sure.
Which reminds me, this episode also features a plane crash. Bending realities, portals between mysterious earthly places, conspiracies, even Australians. In place of guy who gets sucked into jet engine, however, there's Stephen Fry as special big important guest star C, head of MI6 and dispenser of exposition. And the guy who tells the doctor, no, not him, her, yes, thank you, that spies around the globe are having their souls sucked out of their body. More or less. And the only person of interest is a former MI6 agent named Daniel Barton who's into Vor. Hang on. Who invented Vor, which is a search engine it's a big-time search engine, in fact, that's just chewing up the competition in its big, sexy corporate mouth. Now, C gets popped for saying too much. Is he really dead? Unconscious? Undead? Oh my god, is he Modron? No. But there is a returning character from the classic series, and this time with a very specific tie to the 1980s. That's right. Because it turns out that Daniel Barton, Vor enthusiast, is the Ronnie. Oh, how you've changed, Chibnall. What happened to that fresh-faced young sprat who slagged off Pip and Jane Baker to their face on national television? And yet, here you are, bringing back the Ronnie, their one major contribution to the mythos. What else do you have up your sleeve, you Pip and Jane traitor?
Made iced tea, possibly.
It's carrot juice, isn't it? Okay, fine. Daniel Barton isn't really the Ronnie, but if he is, we haven't actually learned that yet. We know he's only 93% human, whatever that means, because Yaz and Ryan go undercover as hotshot cub reporters and do some deep cover scanning with James Bond's toys. Meanwhile, the Doctor has an old pal in MI6 and tracks him down. He's off the grid, this mysterious fella, and living in the outback in what appears to be P.L. Travers' childhood home. Huh. Funny thing, there was this old character back in the day who used to kind of dress like Mary Poppins a little bit. It's probably just a coincidence. It's nothing. Up to this point, the episode has been slowly building tension and momentum. There's a real sense of under siege. The Outback raise the steakhouse, and when the glowy light creatures finally do break in, it is genuinely scary. That scene earlier where the gang's headed to MI6 and the driver gets exploded and their sat-nav goes crazy, well, okay, fine. It's really, really similar to the Sontaran stratagem, the Poison Sky, but dear Lord, it's way more intense. Maybe it's because this is all of our friends in the car and not just some rando. But, God, that is knuckle-biting. And you know they're all gonna live. Doesn't matter. The show tricked some residual lizard brain part of my brain into forgetting that these characters are like the main characters and that they'll be fine, just for a second. The reason I think is that the twist comes out of nowhere. They're in the car, everything's what's going on? We're heading to MI6. This is a whole thing. There's no sense whatsoever that anything is wrong. Everything feels like a nice, safe expositional conversation until it isn't. A similar thing happened with C's apparent death in his office. The one tip-off is that this is clearly a pastiche of a spy story. So of course, someone's going to get bumped off just as they're about to reveal the big clue. Of course, Yaz and Ryan are going to be downloading the thing with the countdown clock ticking down just as Daniel's about to come back to his office and finish the thing just in the nick of time, because it's that kind of story, man. Just go with it. Now, of course, nothing says that this is guaranteed to pay off. We're cursed, remember? The show's going to choke in the end because that's what it does now. That's what it's done to us ever since Stephen Moffat sold Babe Ruth to the Yankees, or Harry Frazee sold Jenna Coleman to produce No-No Nanogenes, or whatever the story is on whatever Earth this is. I don't know, there's like 8 of them. So Yaz and Ryan are hiding in Daniel's office while the glowy crazy smoke monsters show up to have an ominous conversation. Clearly Daniel's behind this. We can't trust him, not like that nice O chap. Yeah, that's the thing. See, once you've locked in that they're following the espionage narrative, you know that there's going to be kind of a double cross at some point. Someone's a red herring. Someone else is the real baddie. Trust no one. Live and let die. You only live twice. Spies like us. Whatever. Though, it's the good kind of predictable. This is a framework upon which we can build a coherent narrative kind of predictable. Anyway, Yaz gets zapped by the thingies and winds up in the Upside Down from Stranger Things? Is she maybe really small and this is a shag carpet and that's like static electricity? Or are these synapses firing in someone's brain? But the doctor manages to accidentally kind of pull her out of it while trying to get rid of the glowy thing. They retrieve Ryan and head off to San Francisco to Daniel's Vor party. The doctor, now wearing a sweet tux, pause for squee, confronts Daniel like, I know you're up to something. And he's like, you're annoying. And she's like, nuh-uh. And he's like, I'm getting into my private plane now, bye. And so the team's like, no way, bruh. And they run after the plane. And it's here that I should mention that 70-year-old Graham is a faster runner than 30-something-year-old. Oh, interesting. And that's possibly the kind of thing the doctor should have mentioned or noticed instead of just springing on us that, aha, I happen to have read your biography, which I have not mentioned before, and anyway, you're supposed to be a world champion sprinter. Didn't everybody know that exposition? Which, because it kind of has a slight tinge of, but you see, I bribed the architect first. The only reason I really care is that this absurdly minor detail actually leads to a massive reveal, as you know by this point if you're watching this video, 'cause spoilers. And it could easily have been explained by saying, oh yeah, dude, I have the flu, or I haven't worked out in a while, or like I twisted my ankle, or shut up, I barely know you people. Running for a plane that's literally taking off isn't actually something we had to do in track and field.
Well done.
But anyway, it leads to a very big reveal, which is OMG, which stands for O's the Master. Gabby? Yes, where are we right now? Well, there's a lot we don't know, and it's exciting.
Why can the light creatures enter the TARDIS? Who's controlling them? What's the alien code? Are Yaz and the Master still gonna hook up?
Fandom, as always, is divided, with half saying, best master reveal ever. Oh man, he's so good. And half saying, hang on, no. Please don't tell me that they just undid Missy's redemption arc. Well, me, I'm somewhere in the middle. Theory number 1. He's an earlier master, before Sim and Gomez and Jacoby. Theory number 2. The master was almost redeemed as Missy, but something happened. Now, I'd be okay with either one, though that something that happened had better be a good something happening, if you receive my meaning. Like, if you're going to undo something that big, you better have a damn good reason for it other than, my show now! Theory number 3. Multiple Earths? Multiple masters. Multiple doctors. Maybe this is the master from, I don't know, Pete's World or Eye Patch Land or something, or the one where Canine and Company got picked up for a full series. It deserved me. Theory number 4. He's not the master at all. Everything the Doctor thinks she knows is a lie, after all. Maybe Lenny Henry's the master. But he's like a more cool, calculating version of the master that's using this dude as a puppet. Theory number 5. He's the Ronnie. Theory number 6. Graham's the Ronnie. Theory number 7. This guy's the Ronnie. Theory number 8. I'm the Ronnie. Look, someone's the Ronnie, damn it, right? As a wise woman once said, look around at how lucky we are to be alive right now. And that lady didn't even have indoor plumbing, so, like, what are you whining about? We're here. It's early January 2020, between episodes of Doctor Who, hanging on a cliffhanger that people seem to actually care about. Savor this moment. There's a whole load of interesting ideas to explore next week, and they might not pay any of them off, but how amazing would it be if they did? Okay, so the Master's back, but what's he up to? Was Daniel even real? Is any of this real? What is this place? Who are these aliens? Is C really dead? Which one's the Ronnie? These are questions left up in the air that we're being encouraged to ask. We haven't actually been here for a while, folks. Savor it. Seriously, I'll defend Series 11 till my dying day. I will. Demons of the Punjab, for instance, is probably like objectively better as a piece of television than this story. But it's kind of tough coming up with, like, theories about it. I already know what motivated every single character in that particular story to do what they did. Same with almost every episode last year. Some of which were really, really good. There just wasn't a lot of, like, space along the margins to really kind of think about them. And even something as intriguing as the Sola Tract, I think we're pretty much tapped out for interesting stories to tell about sad ex-girlfriend frog universe. And I love that frog. Which is why it's such a breath of fresh air that Spyfall begs those questions simply by having a cliffhanger. It gives Doctor Who fandom the gift of ambiguity. And it's been a long damn time, too. Is part 2 going to be a huge disappointment? I don't know. But for the first time in a while, my answer is, I don't know, instead of probably. And honestly, that excites me even more than the idea of Sonic the Hedgehog putting a tiny little version of Tails in his mouth. Well, that was in poor taste.